It's the fact that he did not pull a prank. He's notorious for pranks. He'll ride pranks out for years, and there was much pranking going on.
Hollywood is no stranger to explosive headlines, but when two of its biggest icons are involved, the world can't look away. Brad Pitt, the heartthrob of generations, has finally broken his silence, revealing the shocking truth behind George Clooney's high-profile divorce. For years, fans have speculated, rumors have spread, and tabloids have thrived on speculation. But now, Brad has stepped forward with the story behind the headlines, and it's far more personal and far more heartbreaking than anyone imagined. George Clooney, the golden boy of Hollywood, seemed to have it all: fame, fortune, charm, and a loving marriage that many envied. Yet behind the red carpets and glamorous premieres, cracks were forming, cracks that only a few close friends could see. For years, the media tried to explain his divorce with simplistic narratives: career pressures, long separations, or conflicting personalities. But according to Brad Pitt, the real reason is far more complicated and surprisingly intimate. In an exclusive statement, Brad revealed that the divorce wasn't about betrayal, finances, or fame. It was about something deeper: personal growth, unspoken tensions, and the impossible expectations placed on one of Hollywood's most admired couples. He described it as a situation where love remained, but circumstances, ego, and life choices created a rift that neither could bridge. Fans of both actors have waited decades for clarity, and now, with Brad's revelation, the Hollywood world is buzzing. This is the untold story behind the headlines, the personal account that sheds light on a private struggle that captivated the world. Today, we're diving deep into the real reason George Clooney's marriage ended, the role Brad Pitt played in uncovering the truth, and the heartbreaking lessons hidden behind one of Hollywood's most publicized divorces. George Clooney and his former spouse were one of Hollywood's most celebrated couples. Known for their charm, philanthropy, and appearances on red carpets that turned heads worldwide, they seemed like the perfect match. Yet, behind the glamorous photos and glowing magazine features, the reality was far more complicated. While the public saw smiles, awards, and high-profile premieres, insiders noticed the subtle tensions that often go unnoticed until they can no longer be ignored. Brad Pitt, a close friend of George for decades, had always been aware of the pressures that Clooney faced, both personally and professionally. In interviews over the years, Pitt had remained tight-lipped, offering vague statements about the challenges of balancing a career in Hollywood with personal happiness. But now, after years of speculation and rumors, Brad has finally spoken candidly about what really led to the breakdown of George's marriage. According to Brad, the divorce was less about scandal or betrayal and more about the immense pressure that comes with living life in the public eye. George had a demanding career, traveling frequently for filming, philanthropic work, and award circuits. Maintaining the public image of a perfect marriage while also managing personal ambitions created an unrelenting strain. Over time, the couple found themselves drifting apart, not out of anger, but because the expectations surrounding them were impossible to meet. Brad described the situation as a painful but inevitable outcome. "It wasn't about someone doing something wrong," he said. "It was about two people growing in different directions while the world was watching every step." Those close to the couple have confirmed that the divorce was amicable, with both parties committed to remaining supportive of each other despite the separation. Yet, there were emotional consequences. George reportedly struggled with guilt, wondering whether his choices had hurt the relationship. Meanwhile, Brad emphasized the importance of understanding that not every ending comes from conflict. Sometimes it's about personal growth and accepting the reality of life changes. The tragedy of the divorce lies not in scandal or betrayal, but in the heartbreak of realizing that love alone sometimes isn't enough to bridge the gap created by life's demands. Brad's revelation sheds new light on an event that has captivated the world for years. Fans who once speculated endlessly now have insight into a deeply personal story, and one that reminds us that even the most iconic Hollywood couples face struggles far beyond what the cameras can capture. This story isn't just about a divorce. It's about friendship, perspective and the unspoken truths that only those closest can understand. Brad's candidness has not only clarified the situation, but also highlighted the human side of George Clooney, a man who, despite fame and fortune, experienced heartbreak like anyone else. As the public digests Brad's revelation, it's clear that the story of George Clooney's divorce isn't just about the end of a marriage. It's about understanding the pressures of fame, the sacrifices required by love, and the reality that sometimes life circumstances shape outcomes in ways no one can predict, no matter how perfect the couple may appear. George Clooney's life has always been under a microscope. From his breakthrough role on ER to becoming one of the most respected actors and directors in Hollywood, every move has been public, every decision scrutinized. While the world admired his charm, wit, and seemingly perfect personal life, the reality behind the scenes was far more complicated. Balancing career ambitions with a high-profile marriage is never easy. And for George, the stakes were even higher because of his immense fame. Brad Pitt, who has shared decades of friendship with George, has been a witness to the private struggles hidden behind the Hollywood spotlight. For years, he avoided commenting publicly on the divorce, respecting George's privacy and understanding that the media would likely distort any statement. Yet the curiosity and speculation surrounding the split grew uncontrollable, with endless rumors about infidelity, career conflicts, or personal failings. Brad finally broke his silence to clarify that the truth was far simpler and far more poignant than the world imagined. According to Brad, the divorce wasn't about betrayal or scandal. Instead, it stemmed from the unrelenting pressure that comes with being constantly observed. George and his spouse were growing as individuals, but the demands of fame, work, and public expectation created a gap that neither could bridge. Long hours on set, international travel, philanthropic commitments, and constant media attention slowly eroded the intimacy of their relationship. Over time, even the strongest bonds can be tested under such relentless scrutiny. Friends close to the couple have confirmed that both parties wanted different things from life at certain points, which further contributed to the separation. Brad explained, "It's painful, yes, but it's not about failure. It's about two people understanding that sometimes love alone can't overcome life's circumstances." This perspective reframes the narrative from one of scandal to one of human complexity, a reality often lost when celebrities are reduced to gossip fodder. Even with the divorce finalized, George Clooney reportedly maintains respect and affection for his former spouse. According to Brad, the two remain supportive of each other, especially in public and in private matters. The split, while emotionally taxing, did not destroy the underlying respect or friendship. In fact, it reinforced a lesson both Brad and George have long known. Celebrity does not shield anyone from life's challenges. Brad's candid revelation emphasizes the importance of understanding the private lives of public figures with empathy. While fans may speculate endlessly, the reality is often far more nuanced. The emotional toll of fame, the demands of work, and the pressures of maintaining a perfect public image are invisible burdens that shape decisions in ways outsiders rarely understand. In sharing his perspective, Brad Pitt not only clears up years of speculation, but also highlights the human side of George Clooney's story. It's a reminder that, beyond the cameras, the red carpets, and the media headlines, celebrities face the same emotional struggles as everyone else, sometimes even more intensely because of the spotlight. This isn't just a story about divorce. It's a story about growth, understanding, and the challenges of maintaining a personal life under constant public scrutiny. For George Clooney and those close to him, it's a lesson in navigating love, friendship, and fame, all while trying to remain true to oneself. While the public often imagines the life of a Hollywood icon as glamorous and effortless, the truth is far more complex and often heartbreaking. For George Clooney, the immense pressures of fame were not just professional, but deeply personal. Every action, every word, every decision was observed and analyzed by millions. Maintaining a private life under such constant scrutiny is nearly impossible, and it is here that the roots of the divorce become clear. Brad Pitt, who has long been a close confidant of George, revealed that the emotional strain of constant public attention played a significant role in the separation. It wasn't a scandal, infidelity, or betrayal that ended the marriage. Instead, it was the weight of expectations, both from the public and from themselves, that created an unavoidable distance. With demanding filming schedules, award circuits, and philanthropic commitments, the couple faced the impossible challenge of being fully present for each other while managing careers that never allowed for normalcy. According to Brad, the divorce was a decision born out of understanding rather than conflict. Both George and his former spouse recognized that love alone could not bridge the growing gap in their lives. They had evolved as individuals, and while the connection remained, their paths had begun to diverge. Brad described the split as a bittersweet but necessary step for both of them. Friends and insiders have also noted the quiet sacrifices George made during the marriage. He often postponed personal desires, adjusted his career choices, and devoted time to charity work, all while striving to balance the family dynamic. Even with these efforts, the constant public scrutiny created tension that could not be resolved. Brad emphasized that these pressures are rarely understood by outsiders who only see the curated image presented on screens and in tabloids. The emotional consequences of the divorce were profound. George reportedly struggled with guilt and self-reflection, questioning whether he could have done more or made different choices. Yet, he also understood the inevitability of life's changes, that sometimes two people who love each other deeply must take separate paths for personal growth and well-being. Brad's revelation is significant because it reframes the narrative. The story is not about scandal or wrongdoing. It is about humanity, empathy, and the unspoken challenges of life in the public eye. It highlights the fact that even the most admired individuals are not immune to heartbreak, emotional strain, or the complexities of maintaining relationships under extreme pressure. Ultimately, this insight from Brad Pitt underscores a vital truth. Celebrity does not protect from life's challenges. Fame magnifies them, placing ordinary human struggles under a glaring spotlight. For George Clooney, the divorce was a deeply personal experience, shaped by circumstances far beyond the public's understanding. It's a reminder that behind the glamour, icons like George live as fragile, complicated, and human as anyone else. The story of George Clooney's divorce, as revealed by Brad Pitt, is more than just a Hollywood headline. It is a window into the hidden realities of life in the spotlight. While the public often consumes celebrity news as entertainment, the truth behind these stories is often far more complex, emotional, and human than anyone could imagine. In George's case, the breakup was not fueled by betrayal or conflict, but by circumstances that challenged even the strongest bonds. Brad Pitt's perspective brings clarity to a situation that was long misunderstood. According to him, George and his former spouse were confronted with the harsh realities of fame and ambition. High-pressure careers, extensive travel, and relentless public scrutiny created an environment where love alone could not sustain the relationship. Both parties recognized this reality and made the difficult decision to part ways amicably, understanding that their personal growth and well-being depended on it. While the split was undoubtedly painful, it also offers important lessons about life, love, and human resilience. Brad highlighted that the divorce demonstrates the necessity of empathy and perspective when judging public figures. Fans often assume that divorce implies wrongdoing or scandal, but in reality, it can stem from circumstances beyond anyone's control. For George, it was a reminder that even extraordinary people face ordinary struggles, ones that cannot always be resolved by fame, wealth, or public adoration. The emotional aftermath of the divorce was significant. George reportedly experienced guilt, reflection, and moments of deep sadness as he reconciled the loss of a life he had cherished. Yet he also found understanding, acceptance, and a renewed commitment to his own growth and happiness. Brad Pitt's account shows that the story is not one of failure, but of a mature recognition that sometimes love and circumstance must be weighed carefully, and that stepping away can be an act of strength rather than weakness. Moreover, the divorce underscored the importance of support systems and friendships. Brad's own role as a confidant exemplifies the quiet ways that friends help each other navigate difficult times. His willingness to speak out offers insight into the private conversations, advice, and emotional support that shaped George's understanding of the situation. Ultimately, this revelation reshapes the narrative around George Clooney's divorce. It reminds the public that behind every headline is a human story filled with nuance, sacrifice, and emotion. Fame amplifies these challenges, but it does not shield anyone from the realities of love, loss, and personal growth. Brad Pitt's candid admission serves as a testament to friendship, honesty, and empathy. It allows fans to see George Clooney not just as a star, but as a person who faced heartbreak with dignity and courage. The real reason behind the divorce, as explained by someone who knows him best, is a story about life's complexities, the cost of fame, and the enduring human spirit. In the end, George Clooney's divorce is not a scandal. It is a deeply human story, one that highlights the pressures of Hollywood, the sacrifices required by love, and the personal growth that comes from accepting life's challenges. Brad Pitt's revelation ensures that the world sees the truth behind the headlines, a story of heartbreak, understanding, and ultimately, hope.